Hi everyone, we are back online for a new session. It's session number 4, I think, or it's session number 3 or 4. I don't even remember. Number 4, yeah. It's
4.
already number 4. Wow.
Very
We've
exciting.
already spent a bit more than 3 hours on this project, which is nice. Yeah, we decided with you, Rachel, at the end of the third session that I would have some homework to prepare this session so that it would be a bit smoother when we record the live stream for everyone watching.
Yes.
So there's a lot that happens behind the scenes, and I will show you that today. Besides that, how are you feeling? Good?
I am so excited for today. I got a sneak peek into some of the features you added. I have no idea how you did it, but I'm excited today that we'll learn together. And I'm excited that I'll be able to, it allows me to ask, I have more questions in mind that I think will be more helpful to those watching, just because I've been able to kind of preview it. So it's really good things to come.
Okay, cool. So the plan for today is to explain how we can create custom post types. Then I will explain advanced custom fields, how to import data also in WordPress using WP all import. And yes, we will have a look at the shop section today. So many things to cover. I think the easiest way to do it, and it was also a good suggestion you had last week because you are a professional of the video format, was to show to the viewers what they can expect to see at the end of the session. So I will share my tab now. Can you see the tab? Yes?
Great.
Yes, perfect. So this is the website that we have. What changed compared to last week, for those of you who watched the third session, is that I changed the header, the structure of the header. So we will have a look at the structure of the header. It was to match the design that you had sent me via Discord. So we changed the header. I added also in the header a search bar right here, which is using a plugin called Ajax Search Pro. We'll have a look at that. I added the menu also here, and some of the links are already working, like the shop link, the learn link to the blog section. So here we have the shop. I also added the About Me page. So if I click on Learn More or on About Me, there's an About Me page there with an email sign up for the newsletter. I also added a Contact Me page with a cute dog right here. You see, he's holding an envelope. And that's also the same concept as you had on your own contact page. So it's not really a contact form. It's also a form to sign up for the newsletter. And on the home page, I added links at the bottom to the blog post. So we had the first blog post that I think we had already done last week, how to potty train a puppy. And we have another one now, 5 essential steps for successful crate training. So if I click here, I go to the blog post, and I will also explain the structure of the template for the blog post, because as you can see, there is a template with the table of contents on the right hand side, and at the bottom we have also an email sign up. We might have in the future a pop-up, like a slide-in pop-up or an overlay pop-up, model pop-up for the newsletter, but at the moment we have different placements for this widget on the site, on the home page, in the blog post, on the contact page, and on the About Me page. And the big change this week is the shop page, what you call the shop page. It's not actually a shop in the sense that your viewers, your visitors can't buy a product directly from this page, but it links to your partners directly from the index. So if we click on shop here, we go to the destination. And we also have a details page for each of those items. So if I click on the playpen here, I go to a page where I also have the button to the shop, the actual shop, and here a link to the product type and the brand. So if I click on playpen, I will have the 2 playpens that we have in
So
the
far.
directory at the moment so far. So it's based on what we called the product types. So it's a custom taxonomy, different from a category or a tag. It's called here a product type, and we have another custom taxonomy for the brands. So I think there's only one product per brand, but if there were multiple products for a brand, we would also have here a page for the brand with the different products. So the purpose of having custom taxonomies and archive pages for those taxonomies is obviously to have better chances to rank on Google for different angles. So here the brand or the product type for the playpens here. So that's the way I structured everything. So maybe now what you want to see is how I did it.
Yes. How did we do this? Because from my view, this is exactly what I was thinking of and wanting. We'll have to tidy up the aesthetics, right? The coloring and
Mhm.
stuff we'll fix later. But in terms of the functionality, this almost looks like an e-commerce site, even though it's technically not. But this was kind of my goal to like make this site almost seem like a brand in itself. And that's kind of where we're getting at. And with the goal of having user experience be really, really high so that when people are clicking through here, they can either search or filter. They can categorize by brand when we add more products. So this is stunning.
Yes, so that's exactly what we did, and there are a few plugins involved in the process. I can already maybe show you how the search engine is working. So if I type create, for instance, here, you can see that we have different entries, different results for crate. We have this blog post where we're talking about crates probably, and also the products, so the wire metal crate, the Dix Revel crate, and the soft crate. And if you click here, you go straight away to the product also. And if you just type crate like that, and if you hit enter, then you go to a search results page
That's
for the crates also. So that's another way. But the cool thing is that you've got suggestions straight away. So
yeah,
if I type playpen, see, I've got the playpens here like
yeah.
that, which is
That's
also pretty cool.
yeah, that's amazing. And real quick, well, yeah, I guess a quick question. The fact that the blog pulls up with it is mind blowing cool. So that's why it's probably important in the blogs to make sure I put in the keywords that relate back to products like crate, playpen, things like that.
Yeah, it was in the text. So I will show you how it's configured the
Right.
search plugin, but it was in the text. But you can also choose to have different search forms with different settings. So you can have you could have a search form which only searches in the product, not in everything. In this example, for the main one, which is at the top of the website, I decided to include all the different
Yes.
post types inside the search so that you can search through all the different types of posts, I would say.
Yeah, that's great.
So let's go behind the scenes and see how everything was created. So maybe just one little quick explanation about this warning, red warning. It's always scary when you have a red warning
Mhm.
on a website. So it says huge SEO issue, you're blocking access to robots. So
Hmm.
what I did actually is that I instructed this WordPress install not to be crawled by search engines because I don't want it to be a duplicate of your existing website
Mm.
before we switch this staging version to your production URL. So
Okay.
that's good practice if you're working on something that's not behind a password. For us, we're just sharing it like that, and that is publicly available in a way. You don't want the search engine to index the content if it's already somewhere else, so on your website, on your existing website, for instance. So that's why it's blocked at the moment, but that will be obviously removed, this restriction, when we publish the website.
Okay.
So we have new plugins on the left hand side in the sidebar. One of them is called CPT UI, Custom Post Type UI. So that's the plugin that I use to create the custom post types. So if you remember, in the first session, I explained that the default formats for WordPress are posts, like the blog post, and pages. So posts and pages right here. But as you can see, we now have a new type of post called shop products. That's where you have all the products of your shop. I think there are 8 products at the moment right here. And so they are in a specific custom post type. And for that purpose, we needed to install CPT UI. And if I go inside of CPT UI, I can edit this post type. So I just created it, using this form here. So it's pretty easy. You pick a slug, which is the structure of the URL. Then you pick the plural form, the singular form, and you also have to make sure, if you want to have an archive page, that here it's set to true here, to have an archive of the product. And actually it was set to false, so we set it to true right here.
What is an archive?
Oh, sorry. It's an archive. So it's like it's like when we went on the product types page or on the brands page. It's a page where we see all the elements that are part of a custom post or a custom taxonomy or a category or a tag. So it's an archive page. And actually it was on the shop product here, I think. Yeah, it was set to true, so as an archive true. So that way we have an archive page where we have all the products. And usually what I do is that I create a page like the one that I showed earlier, the shop page, and I will redirect the archive to that page. But that I will do it later. It's just a detail. But usually, yeah, that's what I do. So I set this to true, as archive true, and then just create the elements at the top. So the slug, the plural version, and the singular version. So the slug here, that's what you will see if you go to the shop products here. And if we just click on one of the products to go directly to the the info sheet, you might see, no, you don't see it because you don't have all the screen, but in the URL you have /shop_product/dix revol crate. So it's in the structure of the URL.
Okay.
That's what we call the slug. So we have this little plugin that was just used to create the custom post type, CPT UI. If some people have coding skills, they can create the custom post types without using a plugins, just by digging into the PHP code. But if you want to change something, then later you also have to dig inside the PHP code. So it's easier to use a plugin like this. And the same plugin is also used to create what we call custom taxonomies. So by default, we have 2 types of taxonomies on a WordPress site. So if I go to post, I see that I have categories and tags. That's by default the 2 types of taxonomies we have on a WordPress site. If we want to create other ones like product types and brands, we have to create what we call a custom taxonomy. So if I go here in CPT UI and I go to add and edit custom taxonomies, I can see in the existing custom taxonomies that I have product type and brands. And on product type, as you can see, I have attached it to shop products. So this thing just appears on shop products. It doesn't appear on the posts. It doesn't appear on the pages. You see, it just appears for this specific custom post type. And the same applies to brands. But let's say, for instance, that in the future, we would have another custom post type for the dog food, for dog food items.
Mhm.
And let's say that one of the brands producing dog food would also be a producer of products that you would have in the shop products. Then we could use the same concept of a brand, the brand custom taxonomy, both for the shop products and the dog food and the food products. And if we went to the brand page for I don't know, XYZ brand, which would have both shop products and food products, we would have all of those products under the umbrella of the brand on that page. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so that's the concept. But then when you have shop products, I can't show it now because it's already populated with custom fields, but by default, you don't have any fields that you can fill out with data. By default, you have the default fields of a WordPress post. So you have the title and the body of the post. If you want to have a structure with custom fields, you need to use another plugin, and I use one which is called uh, Advanced Custom Field, ACF, that's the acronym. And with that plugin, we can create custom fields that we can connect to a specific custom post type. And it might be useful to open in another tab, and I will switch tabs.
And
So
while
that,
you're doing that, for these
yeah.
plugins, I know some have a fee, but are the ones you've talked about so far, are there fees for those or are they come free?
So custom post type UI, CPT UI is free,
Okay.
and the version that we use of ACF, because we don't need the advanced features, it's
Mhm.
also free.
Okay.
Usually, I mean, that's the business model of most plugins. There's a premium version, but we
Yeah.
use the free version of ACF and of CPT
Mhm.
UI. So if I switch to a Google Sheet that I prepared, so to another tab, yes, this tab, I've made a few changes to your initial Google Sheet, and probably to answer your question about how you can delegate this work to someone else, there might
Mhm.
be some columns here that are not really useful in the structure
Yeah.
that we have. So the title, clearly we need a title. Uh, the featured image, we need it. The product type, this is what I used, and that's why it's in yellow in the faceted search on the left hand side. We will see on the shop page, so that's pretty useful. Here the use, it's recorded in the data that we will see in the shop products, but I don't really use it. I could display it potentially, but that's something that I didn't really use
Okay.
in the structure. The brand, I used it, as you saw
Mhm.
on the product pages, so that's something pretty useful. But I didn't use it in the faceted search. Why? Because with the plugin that we have, and that would be the case for most of them, it's not custom enough to have both product types and brands that can be used in conjunction in the search. So which means that if let's say I choose a playpen, and then I want to narrow down to one of the brands, I can't use both product type and brand in the same faceted
Makes
search.
sense.
So I decided to use product type, which is more useful for the user.
I agree.
Then we have the brand logo, which we used on the product page. Quick description, I didn't use it, but it's also recorded in the data. I mean, that's something that's pretty easy and fast to fill out anyway. The detailed description, as you saw, I used it on the product pages. I would recommend uh, later, or maybe when you prepare the other products, to have something a bit longer, because that's a good opportunity to try to catch some concepts, topics, keywords. So you might use something. Actually, you might use something like ChatGPT for that purpose. Not to ask something out of the blue, and then it would completely hallucinate and describe a product without the actual features of a product. But what I would recommend is that you take the real features of the product that you can find from the manufacturer of the product, the bullet points of the product. And then you ask ChatGPT, or another one, but ChatGPT is the king now, to write a detailed description based on the data points that you have in the bullet points. So in that way, it will just write a nice piece of prose, but it won't be completely hallucinating,
Random
making up
stuff.
facts. And you can add, obviously, your own little opinion to this description, because that's what you want to also to communicate. Or you can, before you ask the ChatGPT to write this longer description, you can put your own opinion also in telegraphic mode in the bullet points. So it can be part of the prompt before you prompt the engine. So yeah, I would say that if you could manage to have at least 100 words, between 100 and 200 words per description, that would be the minimum. If you
Okay.
want to hope to to rank for those pages, that is far too short at the moment.
And then what about pulling? So basically, I could pull features that the brand uses, not
Yeah,
copying their text, but like, if they say, for example, on the crate, diamond wire mesh, that's something a
yeah.
brand uses. So I could pull stuff from the brand. Um, okay.
Yeah, and then you just I mean, I can help you obviously to do that also, but then you just put it inside of a prompt for ChatGPT, and you ask the engine to come up with the final description. And you can set the tone of voice. You can see, yeah, it could be witty, or it could be informal but factual. You can set the tone of voice, and then you have something that would be longer, but based on facts, because you don't want this thing to just go crazy.
Yeah. And could you set it to where, let's say column I is an indigo, the detailed description, if that was empty,
Yeah.
could we set up something with ChatGPT where it would fill in the description at, let's say, 150 words in that column for each row? So it would kind of automatically populate there, or do I have to do it one by one and put in a new
Oh,
prompt?
you could use the API. You could use the API. There are two ways to use the API with a Google Sheet. So either you create a Google Apps script, so a JavaScript script that actually you have to activate via app script here. So
Oh,
you can even ask ChatGPT to create the script, because ChatGPT is pretty good at coding. But yeah, you have many people who have done that on the web. So you can either create a script directly inside of Google Sheet, or use Python. That's usually the way I do it. So you use Python, you create a Python script, and then you connect. So there's a bit of work that, like, I would say, low code skills needed for that. But then what you do is that you just copy paste the raw data, the bullet points in one column, for instance. Let's say in column H, in column I, that would be the raw data, and then you have your script activated for column J here, and then you just drag down the script, and then it will write all the
wow.
descriptions for you. Yeah, so that's the way to do it. So if you have 100 rows, obviously it's a good way to do it, and it's also very I mean, it's not expensive. It's really affordable if you use the API of ChatGPT, so the 3.5 version, not the last one, not the GPT-4 version, which is a bit more expensive, but it's $0.002 for 750 words.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be.
So it's crazy. I mean, it's so affordable. So yeah, that's an easy way to quickly write a lot of descriptions based on facts, and it's one of the best use cases today for ChatGPT. A lot of e-commerce sites have now implemented the technology to write their descriptions.
Okay.
That's a good one. So let's move to the next one. So we have the detailed description, should be longer. Shop link, so that's the link to either Amazon or the other shops that we have integrated. Discount code, we don't have discount codes for all of the products, so when it's empty, it's fine. The icon, it's an icon that you have chosen.
Yeah, and I don't know if we need to use icons. I just
That
was
was
like,
just
well,
another image. I mean, it's
yeah,
always nice to have, I wouldn't say to have thousands of images on the page,
yeah,
but it gives a, something else
yeah. Okay,
on the page, and also it might be indexed by Google and connected to the page. So if people just click on a crate in Google Images, they might end up on your article.
okay, okay.
So that's just a good one. And the videos, it would be nice if you had a video for all of them, obviously, but when you didn't have any video, there's nothing in the column.
Yeah,
And just a quick comment about the fact that all of those images were uploaded on your WordPress site. You did it, or someone else did it, before pasting the URL in the cell, so that when I import this data in in the site via WP all import, it basically gets the image which is already on the site and connects it. Connects it to the article. So the first thing people should do is upload their images to their site and then reference the location of the image right
yeah.
here.
Two things on that. One, I thought you'd be proud. I made sure to name each image with a good description,
Yeah.
like yak chews or bully sticks or something, like, so
Mhm.
that for SEO. So make sure that for those watching, what I did is I uploaded them to Canva because some of them I had to edit, and then I saved it in Canva. And then in session 2 or 3, um, we set it up to where when you upload an image, if the image name is a certain thing, then it would automatically be named that on the site, I
Yeah,
think is what. Yeah,
populate the page.
populate.
Yeah.
And then the second, so that you can see the names there, so that's
Yeah.
exciting. And then, the one question I have is, does it matter what image size I upload? For example, I want the featured image to be bigger than the icon and the logo to be bigger than the icon or whatever. Like, does it matter, or can I manipulate that in WordPress?
No, I have changed the sizes, and I will show it
Okay.
in WordPress. I would say that you might have noticed that, but I decided to change the background for the products and also for the blog post from this blue to white. Why? Because some of your images were transparent, some of the images were not transparent, they were with a white background, and some of the images were with the object very close to the edges of the square.
Mm,
So if I used the white images, so with a white background, with the product very close to the edges, and put it on a blue page, it doesn't look really nice,
yeah.
So that's why I change everything to white. So by changing everything to white on the pages, so let's switch back to the site and see what I mean. So here, for instance, this one is not really white, by the way, but let's say we don't really see that it stands out. But when it was blue, it was
Yeah.
really, in your face. And this one is not the best example because it's not too close
I
to
can
the edges.
see. Oh, I see, yeah.
But there was another one. I think it was this
Playpen,
playpen.
yeah.
Maybe this. No, this one was transparent, but maybe the metal playpen. I remember there was one really close to the edge. This one I think is really close to the edges, and it's white on white. So it's not a problem on a white background. But if it was a blue background, you would see that you would have the fence here really close to the edge of the image. So I mean, a square image for a product is usually what we have. Um,
So it sounds like I need to be consistent with, because I like the idea of transparent. So for me, when I'm uploading images, make sure they're transparent. So then it'll just look like I like how this layout is. And then try to make it as close to the edges as possible so
no,
they're consistent. Or no?
yeah, I mean, if it's transparent, yes, it doesn't make any difference because we don't see the edges. If it were white, then no, because then if the background was not white, then we would see that it's very close to the white edge.
Mm.
But also something important to bear in mind is that we have decided that this was the featured image. So featured image is two different things. It's on the page. That's what we display here. Nice. But if we share this on social, okay, that will be the image that's by default shared with the title and the description. But a square image, obviously, on Facebook is not the best choice
Mm.
because it's usually a 1200 by 628.
Hmm.
So a way to approach this would be to have two columns here. So one column which would be called the product image. Then it can be a square or it can be any shape, basically. It can be a vertical image or whatever. And another column which would be the featured image. Then would need to be created in Canva. So with a shape like this one, you see, a
Hmm.
shape like a rectangle. Because if you create something like this, 1200 by 628, then if you share it on Facebook or on LinkedIn or most places
Actually.
or Twitter, you will see everything. If it's a square, it will be cropped. And if the product is not in the middle of the square small enough, you won't see the product. So technically, for instance, the playpen right here that I see here, if I share this on Facebook, it will be cropped and you will see just the middle of the playpen. So that might be something that now that you're thinking about adding a lot of other products, you might have
Hmm.
to add another column, or I would do that, share it with you, and have a column called featured image with an image. Sorry, let's go back here. Featured image with an image like this one, like a rectangle image, and a product image, which can then be whatever, a square like this one. Do you get it?
Yep. So I just on my Google Sheets, I just added another column so I don't forget for what if I call it social share image? Or what do I call that
No,
one?
it's the featured image then. It's the featured
Okay.
image. The featured image would be rectangle shaped, and the product image can be whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Most people don't make the distinction, but then when they share that on Facebook, they say, "Oh, I just see part of my product." And
Yeah.
also, the good thing, if you create your own featured image like this, is that you can add the name of the product on this, you see. So if it's on Google Images or on Pinterest or wherever it is, you have some text with it, and so it's a better call to action anyway. So let's go back here. So I was about to explain how we import it and assign all of those fields to the custom products, to the product here. So if I go to edit shop product, you will see somewhere, or you should see somewhere, and you don't see it for a reason that's beyond understanding. Let's see. That's where you do it. The product is there. Okay. Maybe it's because I changed at some point the slug and I forgot to reassign the custom fields. I do it here. So if I go to the
Okay.
custom fields, I've got the shop products, what is called shop products here.
Mhm.
So if I edit it, I will have all the fields that we have. So title, section, use, quick description, detailed description, brand logo, which is an image, icon, an image, shop link, a URL, discount code, and video. And theoretically, that's where, yeah, you see post type is equal to shop product. So I have to just resave it. Fortunately for us, it didn't just ruin everything. So now if I come back here and if I edit one of them, you see I've got all of those fields. You
Okay.
see them? So that's
That's crazy.
and if I wanted to add a new product, I can do it manually. So I don't have to go through sheet and import and blah blah blah. It's best practice because if you delegate the job to someone else, they just fill out they just fill out the sheet and then you import the sheet. It's faster. There's
Mhm.
just one place where you manage the data. It's your Google Sheet. You know, it's easier. By the way, this one, the one I imported, was a copy of yours. So might be useful for me to share my own copy with you for the changes because I made
Yes.
some slight
Yes.
modification, and I will add the columns later. But
Okay. Okay.
you could also add a product straight away by going there and say add new product, and you will have empty fields. Okay, title, section, use, quick
Oh, and
description.
those are the fields that you added in, so it's gonna follow the same format. That's nice.
Yeah. That's the field that the fields were added using this plugin called
Mhm.
Custom Fields
Right.
ACF, and they were connected to the custom post type shop products. The only thing that's part of the legacy structure of WordPress is the title. So you still have to fill out something for the title. It will be the same as this one, but you have to fill out manually, or when we import it, it's automatic. But you don't have to leave the title there at the top empty. You've got to put something there. It's the same as title here. And then all the rest, so 2 images there. The links are links. You can see there's a little earth icon there. It's because it's a URL, discount code. And then we fill out the data for Yoast SEO, so the focus key phrase, which is the concept of what's being presented there, like playpen, for instance. And then the title here, we change it here, and the meta description. But all of that was written automatically with the plugin that I'm going to show in a moment, which imported your Google Sheet. So when the Google Sheet is ready, the only thing that we have to do, so I switch a tab, is go to File, download as CSV. So it
Mhm.
downloads the CSV of the data, and then coming back to the WordPress side, I've got another plugin called WP All Import, and the version we have is a paid one, but I have an enterprise lifetime subscription. So yes, that was a gift from me. Uh,
Oh,
but this
thank you.
one is premium one. I think it's 49 per year if you don't have the lifetime per site. But I have unlimited sites forever. So this one is to import the CSV. So if I go to manage import, you will see that I've already imported the first batch of products.
Mm,
And basically what I did, so if I wanted to start from scratch, I just go to new import,
right.
upload a file. So I upload then the CSV, and then what happens is that I've got to create a template. So you see on the right hand side the data from from the first entry out of 8. You see there, boom.
Mhm.
And the only thing I did was to double click there and click there. And so basically assigning the elements from the right hand side to the fields on the left hand side. So nothing in the body because we don't use the body. But then images, it's already in the media library because it was pre-uploaded. And so what I did here was just double click on featured image and click there, you see.
Yep.
Then WordPress SEO, it was title for the focus keyword, title for the SEO title, and then a little uh, custom text here for the meta description, also using the title. So when we import all the entries, it's doing all of this filling out automatically based on all the data that we assign in the fields. So that's basically what it's doing.
Mm.
Um, that's it.
I think if we go back, I think my biggest question, not question, but the difference between when I built on my Squarespace site is when you add a product, edit a product, or change a product, you're kind of doing it on the actual page. So you're like, take the image and you move it up or down, or you make it
Yeah,
smaller or bigger, or the text. So this is so different because you're really doing it on the back end, and then it just kind of populates on the page, which is
exactly.
better for organization, but also difficult for someone who's visual like me. Like, what if I want to go on the page and I'm like, well, I actually want the icon to be smaller and I want the logos to be bigger, or I want the logo to be on
Okay.
the left side. Like, is that
So
easy to do?
yes, I will show you. So we have two
Okay.
templates for the shop. We have one template for the product itself, for one product, and we have a template for the index page where we have the search engine and and the different products. So the first template that we can have a look at is the template of a product. So there are different ways to access templates. One of them is to go through templates and team builder, but we will access it directly from one of the pages. So let's say that I want to have a look at here the Dix Revol Crate. So I just view the page as I would as a user. So yeah, that's a good example because we have everything on that page. We have the discount code and we have the video. So if I go here at the top, I can edit the header, the footer template, or something that I call the product page template. So if I click on product page template, it opens Elementor. Bear with me.
And then so in Elementor, we change it. Would it change for all product pages or just
Yes.
this one? Okay,
Yes.
good, good, good. Okay,
Yeah,
good,
it's
good,
a
good.
template. So it's a template connected to structured data.
Great.
So we have two different parts, as you said, the backend with the data and the front end with the template. And the template is assigned to all shop products, all shopping products. That's the way we do it. And as you can see here, and yeah, if we didn't have any data, we would go to the cogs at the bottom behind my name. Then here, preview settings, shop products, and choose a product to populate this with data.
Got it.
It's already populated with the Dix Revol Crate, so it's fine.
Great.
And then it's a structure just as the other pages that we created before and that we'll create in the future. So here it's two columns. As you can see, it's a section with two columns. At the top, there's just a section with two columns with one empty. Why? Because I wanted to add a button there. So that's connected to the product page, to the main page,
Yeah.
so that if people are on one product page, if they click on this button, they go back to
To
the
the
main
main.
page. So just for usability purposes. And here we've got the title, which is the post title, which is basically retrieved dynamically for each page from the data in the backend. So here it's a Dix Revol Crate. Next is two what we call inner section with two columns. One is the product type, which is a taxonomy. So we just put there a module which was called taxonomy, and it retrieved the product type for this product. So if we go to the playpen, it will be written
It'd be
playpen
playpen there.
here,
Yeah.
obviously. And I've just put a text before the dynamic data, which is always there, like static, product type, column, as you can see here. I've put it on 2 lines, just a detail, but if it's too long. For the brands, it's the same concept. It's also a custom taxonomy, but as you can see here, it's brand, and it's also brand column, and then the brand. And next to it, we have this icon here. So by default, if you add an image, this is the way it will look, okay? If you go to the little silo data icon there, dynamic tags, and if you go to ACF, Advanced Custom Field, Image Field, and click on the little icon there, you will have the different images, dynamic images that you could use. And one of them was the icon. So I click on the icon, then boom, I've got the icon. And if I go to style, I can decide that this icon will only be 75% of the width. If I don't do this, it would be bigger by default, but that's not nice. So I just put 75 here, just a choice.
Yeah.
And if you remember, we can set a different one for tablet and for mobile, because on mobile, 75 would be a big icon. So if you go on mobile, you see that the icon is smaller because it's 25% on mobile.
I love that.
So you see it's 25%, 25, not 23 on mobile. And it's, if I switch back to desktop, it's
Back to
75%
75.
on desktop.
This is
So
brilliant. Yeah. No, this is nice. And I like you said, it's a template. So you can make the edits how you want it to look here, and then it'll apply to all the other shop page. And then when we do it for dog food, same thing. So that's awesome.
yeah, same concept. And I think it's different a bit uh, for the brand one. Yeah, I put it 50% for the brand one. And coming back to the constraints for the images, it was the same also for the brand the brand logos. Some of the brand logos were PNGs transparent. Some of them had a white background. So to be consistent, I decided to have a white background for the page. That way, it was white for everyone. You
Yeah.
see, it made it easier. So yeah, if you don't want to think too much about it, just use a white page. Otherwise it's more difficult. So if I come back to the structure, next it's the description.
Mhm.
So it's the same concept. Here it's a text block, which by default is populated with some lorem ipsum. So if I go to the little silo there, and if I go down and I pick ACF field, so it's not an image field, it's a field, I can go to detailed description, and boom, I've got my detailed description there. You see? Same concept.
That is
Provided that there's
wild.
something in the backend, obviously.
Yeah, provide yeah.
If it's empty, it's empty. Same for discount code, so you get it. Here it's a but. Oops, I moved it. So yeah, if you move something by mistake, you can either move it back to the location, or go to the history buttons. It's behind my name actually, but
Yeah.
history, and then you can go here to the version and go back to the previous iteration of the page.
Um,
That's a cool one.
if I wanted to change it instead of saying my discount code and I just wanted it to say discount code, like
Yeah.
would
So
that change for all of them again?
yes, because it's two-part here. So if I do it back from scratch. So if I just go there, by default it's a heading. It's a title, heading like that. If I click on the little silo, and if I go back to ACF field, and if
See,
I choose discount code,
discount code.
it will be the discount code like that, just the discount code, but we don't know what it is. So what we have to do is click on advanced and
Oh,
say
before.
before. And
So you just put
so
discount code.
and then we
Oh.
just put discount code column and then a space, and then boom, we've got it everywhere like that.
Now, the other thing too is with the description, if we make those 100, 200, 300 words, it'll make the shop button and the code really low. Is that
Yeah.
common formatting for like
But
product
then I would
pages?
say, because the description, especially on desktop, you get it on the same page, and you just
True,
move the
true, true.
description, on the other side, and just play around with this. We can do that actually, but then obviously we need a little bit of space.
Yeah,
So we
there's a
so
little
we go to advanced. We take the margin there, and we say 50 pixel like that, for instance. You see? So then if we've got 200, 300 words, it will move just a bit the image down. But then we just play with
just move
the
it around. Yeah.
just move it around. But you need, or you could have it under the image like that. But you need to have some on page content, at least for the moment. I mean, it might change in a not so distant future.
Yeah.
I wrote an article today saying that on demand generated content could replace search engine as we know them, as we've
Oh,
known them for
great.
20 years now. But as long as it's not the case, we need some dead words on the page to attract the crawler of Google and Bing. So we need to
Okay.
have words on the page,
Okay.
more than 3 lines. So next one here was watch my review, is just a piece of text. That's
Yeah.
a static one. It's not
Yeah.
in the back end. And the next one was the video. So the video is a dynamic one. It's not rendered here, but it's dynamic. From the field called URL video. So
Mhm.
that's basically it. So now that I've changed the position here of the description, if I open my page again, as you can see, it's there. So yeah, that's it basically. And it changed for all of the products. So if I go back to this, and if I click on whatever, the soft crate, it will open here, and you see the description is
Yeah, I
there.
moved
And
it.
you see there's no video and no discount code
Right.
because there was
Right.
no
Yeah.
nothing in the back end. And so that's a good opportunity to switch to this page. This page is a bit more complex. It's the index page, basically. We have 8 products at the moment. So when there will be more products, it will be an infinite scrolling. So if people just go down here, it will just load some other products. Same on mobile. If you just with your finger scroll, there will be other products. So that's the idea. At the moment, we have just 8 products. So if I open the template, there's a template here. It's not it's just a template for the page. So there was no assignment concept. It's just for this specific page. So we click on edit with Elementor, and we will have the same concept. So we will have a grid. So at the top, it's pretty much the text that you had on your page. So it's the title. There was a subtitle. There was a paragraph here. I just changed here because there was no toggle concept here for the discount code. So I just said check for discount codes under the images. And here it's a little bit sophisticated because we have, as you can see, we have 2 versions of the same grid. Why? One is grayed out, the other one is not. Because we have one version that we serve on mobile, the grayed out one, this one, and one that we serve on desktop, which is not grayed out. Why? Because on desktop, the search is a multiple choice search. So you can choose multiple products and just click here with your mouse inside of the little tick boxes. On mobile, this behavior doesn't work. So we have a drop down where you can choose one of the types, and then it will refresh the page under the drop down. So that's much better on mobile. But we need to have 2 different versions. So if I click on this and I go to advanced, you will see here in responsive that it's hide on desktop and hidden on tablet, and the other way around for this one, which is hidden on mobile, that way. And then behind the scenes, so we have a relationship between this thing, the the grid, and the search engine here on the left hand side. What I will do is that I will open in another tab that I will display in a moment. I will open the backend. So you can see we also have a plugin called Search and Filter Pro. This one is premium, but I'm using also my personal account for that. So Search and Filter Pro. So we can create a specific search widget like the one we have here. Like, oops, I've moved it. So I do exactly what I showed you earlier.
Okay. So there's not like an undo button.
There's no undo button. No, there's an undo by the history. So you go to history and then you choose the previous one, or you can move it around if you want. If you saw where it moved, it's better to just use the history because sometimes it's a bit wobbly.
Yeah,
it's easier. So we need to create this widget. So what I did, sharing this tab in Search and Filter. As you can see, we have 2 different search boxes, one for mobile with the drop-down and one with the tick boxes for the desktop. So the way it works is that I choose which type of custom post type I want to search in, so like shop products. Then I want to have 10 results per page by default. That's just a detail. Here in the display results, I said that the result will be displayed on this page. That's the shop page. And little detail also, I use the same URL structure as on your current site, so that when we move to the final version, the links on Google will work.
Good. That's a good.
That's the same naming convention as on the current site. So if I go down now here, you see we've got plenty of different available fields for search, and I used a taxonomy, the custom taxonomy, the product type. I'll be a bit quick here, but people can pause and come back to the video if they want. So, and I chose product type as the taxonomy. I said that I wanted an input type of checkbox. So checkbox being, the little tick boxes here, you see?
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, I want to display the count, so the amount of products that we have for each of them. Makes sense if people want to see where there are more products. I decided also to hide the empty terms if there's nothing inside of a specific product type. And I think, there's a reset button that I call all products, because the way it behaves, if we come back here, and if I just go back to the page in the front end, the way this thing behaves is that if you choose, for instance, crates, you see it's in Ajax, so it's automatically reloaded. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I choose playpen, it will add the playpens like this. But then I want to, I'd like to see all the products. I can untick and it will just go back, to the product, or I can say all products and it would show everything. It's
I love it.
resetting.
This
Re-
is like when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a
yeah.
dream.
It's in Ajax, so it's dynamic. It doesn't reload the page. It just reloads the thing on the right-hand side, the grid. So let's come back here. So all products, I decided it was a link and not a button because I created the button myself, just a detail. Blah, blah, blah. Nothing else. So that's the way it was. Yes, and in the display result, I chose as a display results method to use a module that we have on the site, which is dynamic post. So that's
Yeah.
the way that those results are displayed. And if I come back here and I edit the page, the way actually I connect the grid on the right hand side and the little search widget on the left hand side is as I will demonstrate now. So if I go to the grid here, okay, and I go to filter, okay, let's do this. I go to query, I think. Yeah, query. As you can see, I've got here the option, because we have the plugin of Search and Filter Pro for the query of what's being displayed in the grid. And I chose for the filter product, which is the desktop version of this thing. So basically, that's the way that this guy is connected to the grid on the right-hand side. And if I go to my other grid, so the one for mobile, which is grayed out, if I go to query, it's also Search and Filter Pro, but as you can see, it's product mobile because it's the other widget. If you don't assign the right widget, then you would just go to your drop down and try to pick something and nothing would happen because it's not the right connection. So you have to assign the right widget to the right grid. But that's, you just have to understand that.
Yeah.
And the grid itself, so you can put anything in the grid that's behind the scenes in the data. At the moment, we have in the items here, we have the title, as you can see, collagen and fish shoe. We have the
you can add other other columns from the
all the stuff that's in the
Interesting.
back end in the data. But we don't want to overcrowd the preview. So what we wanted to have was the title, the
Discount
featured
code,
image,
product,
the discount code if it's there. But we can't add anything before it to say it's a discount code. So that's why it's explained at the top there. And the shop, it's a custom meta field, which is the shop link, and it's displayed. And I was lucky because at some point I said, wow, I can't put a button there. I will have the URL there. It's not nice. But there is an option which is called field type button URL, as you can see, and you can style it in green as I did. So basically behind this button, you've got the shop link URL, which is a custom field, but it's displayed as a button. So, and that's the same for all of them. So if I decided to add something else or to move them around, it would change the preview for all of them.
Okay.
That's the way it is working. And everything is customizable, so we can change the color of the title and blah blah. But that's something that you can do in the future. So that's the way it is. And
beautiful.
The concept would be the same for any type of custom post type. So if we added the dog food section, we would have entries for each dog food item that would be displayed also in a grid like that. And that would also be accessible via some sort of custom taxonomy on the left-hand side. And it works in conjunction with the search engine. So if someone wants to go through the search engine and type chew, for instance, they can also access the product via the search engine there. So it's a way to do it. And you could also have it's there always on the page, but if you wanted to have like a search box on the left-hand side specifically for the products, you could create a different search field that only searches in this specific post type, so in the shop products. And I can show you.
I like that it goes for all of it, though. Like, I
Yeah,
think it's
for
more
the main one, it makes sense.
experience.
It's
Yeah.
the way. That's what's expected. But here we have Ajax Search Pro, so that was a premium one, but it's not a monthly subscription; it's a one-off fee that you paid. It's quite it's not expensive. And here, if I click on Ajax Search Pro, I have one search form field at the moment, which is called All Search. That's at the top of the site. And as you can see here, in the search sources, yes, we've got posts and products. I didn't put the pages because the pages, it's the About Me page and the contact page. I don't want them to be there. So I put posts for the blog posts and the shop products. But if I had only the shop products, it wouldn't search in the post. And so I mean that if you want to create another search box that's just for the shop products, you can just go to the list here, and here, or just not there, there was the little icon on the right hand side of the entry. Here you can duplicate it.
Okay.
And then you can just, in the duplicate version, edit it and remove posts and just have the products. And you can basically customize everything. So if you go to the layout options, for instance, of a search box, instead of having search anything, you could say search products.
Oh,
For
okay.
the products, or for the
Yeah.
food, search
Customize it.
food, blah, 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 or search courses if it's a courses section. And you can have as many different search fields, search forms as you want. That's a cool thing with this plugin also. You can really go crazy and have if you have a specific section and you want to narrow down the search for that section, you can create a new search box. That's the way it's created. So we've covered the shop page, the index page for the shop. The last thing we have to do is go and see the blog posts. So blog posts.
Yeah.
We have 2 blog posts. We have a third one coming up, but I will do it after the session because we're just above the hour already, and we don't want this to drag on for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So we already have 2 posts. The first one that we had already integrated in the previous session, and one that I integrated yesterday night. I think this one is the same concept. We also have a template for the blog post. Why? Because if I go in a blog post, if I edit this blog post right here, what I have on my page in Gutenberg, so Gutenberg is the default environment for a page or a blog post in WordPress, and that's where I wrote everything. Actually, I copied pasted what I received. I've just added a few nice pictures of dogs, as you can see, properly labeled, so everything is there. Okay, but if I open in another tab, I switch to the tab, boom, the blog post, what you notice is that you have the content that I've just shown you, which is just right here, okay? But you have something else, 2 different, 2 extra elements. You have the table of content on the right-hand side, which is determined by the headlines, the H2, H3, H1, H2, H3, H4 on the page. So, and you can just jump straight away to the section. And you also have this widget here for the sign up. And if you go to edit with Elementor, you see we have a template called blog post. If I open blog post, same concept. I just land on a templating page. So I have two columns. In one of them here, this module, oh, it's moving. Yeah, that's just the problem that it's moving. Okay, here, if I click on it without moving, yes. As you can see, it's called the post content on the left-hand side. So this is the body of the thing. This is what we wrote in the backend for the post. That's the post content. Here, this one is probably the post title. Yeah, it's the post title. It moved also, but I can move it back there. Post title. And here on the right-hand side, it's called a table of content. And as you can see, we decided to show the H4 up to the H4, I think. No, it's an H4, and it's an H4, and we decided to show H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. So all the potential headlines. So that's why also the newsletter is there. And at the bottom, so under the body, we have another module, which is here a form with the newsletter. So if I wanted to change the wording of this module, like and use, I think you use something like join my
email family.
Which is nice. I mean, it makes a little touch difference. So if I want to go there, so instead of having sign up to my newsletter, I would just say join my capitalize, maybe, if you want, my email family, not familiar, family. So now if I save, it will be changed for all the blog posts. So we only have two, but it will be changed for all the blog posts. And I think the my wasn't capitalized in your version. Okay, like this. And what else with that? Yeah, I wanted to say something else with that. Yes. As you can see, at the moment, the join my email family is an H2. So if I don't want to have, I mean, it's a choice, but here at the moment in the table of content, you have sign up to my newsletter. It's there. I mean, it's fine, but it's not really the blog post, but because it's an H2, it's there. I could have put it as an, I don't know, H5, and I could have removed from the table of content the H5, you see?
Yeah, I kind of like it there, though. I
Yeah,
think it's a
it's nice.
good.
I mean, if someone wants to jump to the newsletter, makes sense. So when I will add the new blog post that you sent me in a Google Doc, I would just add it in the same way in the backend, and boom, automatically it will be displayed in the same format with all of those things. The cool thing also, I mean, it's not part of your business model, but at the moment at least. But if you want to add some dynamic tables of Amazon under the products, or some a skyscraper from Google AdSense on the left-hand side, or something like that, you add it in the template, and it will be there for all of the blog posts. Then you see,
That's very cool.
so yeah, that's the way we do it. Let's come back here and see. I think I didn't forget anything. I just have a look at my planning. So I did custom post type, advanced custom field. We saw quickly WP all import. That's the way I imported the CSV, the Google Sheet. We spent some time on the structure of the Google Sheet. I also explained the concept of the search, which is called a faceted search based on the custom parameter. The Ajax Search Pro, so that's the thing we used for the search bar, for the search field. And I showed a bit of the archive and search results templates also. And we ended up with the blog post. So yeah, I think I covered everything in 1 hour and 8 minutes.
Yeah, and that was the most we've covered, I think. Like, that was so feature rich. So
Yeah, there was a lot.
it was a lot, but in a good way. I think it's great. And look at all that. Ooh, it's looking so good. I'm so thankful. This is amazing.
Yeah. Now we have deserved a little drink to finish the day, I guess.
Yes, 100%.
Let's
Except for I'm
remove
just
this.
starting my day.
Yes, you're not in San Francisco, but north of San Francisco,
Yep.
on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
The weather here it's a bit better. I wouldn't say it's California, but I mean, San Francisco is windy, as we know.
It's pretty gloomy here often. So Very nice.
So that was the session number 4. We don't know the date yet for session number 5, but it will be also packed with information. So as usual, I want to finish with a few links. If you wanna have a look at what Rachel is doing, you go to rachelfutsaro.com. It's still the website on Squarespace. It will be replaced in a few weeks by the website we are working on at the moment. If you want to read some stuff about automation, marketing, AI, the future of search, the future of mankind and everything, you go to my website, callmefred.com. That is where it happens. Yeah, we are using Elementor. There will be a link in the description. Cloudways for the hosting. Canva. I think you were using Canva even before we met for the visuals. Ajax Search Pro. That's the search bar. Dynamic, it's an add-on to Elementor that we're using to make it a bit fancier and more beautiful and usable for the visitors. Yeah, I think it's basically everything that we're using, and probably we'll be using SE ranking for SEO in the future. So it was intense. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments or send us an email, and we'll be happy to answer them. And I will do my homework for next week based on
Yep.
on what we will discuss on Discord, and we'll be back with a new session. So I think that next time probably what we will do is integrate more products, show how it was done,
Yeah.
and maybe work on one of the other sections. We
Yeah.
still have
Maybe
dog
the
food
dog
to
food
cover.
list.
Yeah, we still have
Yeah.
dog food to cover. It will be the same concept in
Yeah.
terms of integration, but we still have that to
To put in.
cover.
Great.
Thank you everyone for watching.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Rachel. And yeah, stay tuned. We'll be back soon with session number 5.
Can't
Bye-bye.
wait. Bye.